Baby, are you done talking?
Greetings, you guys. See, I got the symbol up. Wakanda, welcome to Wakanda. No, greetings, Melanated Nation. But yes, we are going to be talking about some great things today. I'm glad you joined us today. I do have Miss Nadia Davis back. She is an author, advocate, professional life coach, and mental health professional dedicated to empowering and understanding the communities through education, advocacy, and social services. Thank you so much, Miss Nadia, for being here today and co-hosting with me to get this information out today. Today it will just be me and Miss Nadia because we want to kind of do the show different today. We're going to move differently. We're going to get some information. We're going to get some knowledge today. And remember what I always say about knowledge reveals, truth empowers, understanding transform. So I want you guys to come in to this show, to the Out of Darkness Let There Be Light, with an open mind and understanding that everything that you hear today, yes, it's going to be somewhat outside of your circumference of awareness, but these are things that you should know, and we want you to know so that you can improve, so that you can get better, and so that you can get better clarity and understanding of who you are and where you came from. How you doing today, Miss Nadia?
I'm great. Thank you for having me back. How are you?
I'm doing good. So how do you like the topic that we're going to be having today?
I think it's a topic that needs to be discussed. I think, maybe there are some people who are aware of these things, but sometimes we catalog things in the back of our brain. What they used to tell us, you don't use it, you lose it. Mm-hmm. So just bringing those things to the forefront of people's minds so they can share it with the younger generations, the kids, and, let them know.
Right. So today's topic is the death of the black gods. I know you guys are wondering, what is she saying, death of the black gods? God, you're right, they're not. And I'm saying there because there are many. We do have a supreme being. We do have the divine source. And if you notice that even in your biblos that you call the Bible, God is spelled with a small g because there are many. And those many build up to be the supreme, meaning the characteristics, the attributes. It builds up to the supreme being. So, but today we're going to talk about the death of those gods. And I want to say this one thing. It's really not when we say the death, like death, we're saying that no one is talking about them, where we are breathing life into these deities that were here and walked here before we have, and established governance for us human beings to be who we are today. So how does that relate to the comic characters that we're going to be talking about, that you've seen on the flyer and that you got so enthused about and couldn't wait, and you was anticipating this show, I hope. But we're going to get to that. But I want to read one thing, because we have to establish a ground root, don't you think? We have to establish a foundation of history so that you guys know where we're going with this show. So I want to read one thing to you guys, and this is a creed by John D. Rockefeller. It's a Masonic creed, and this is a creed that he wrote, and I'm just going to read it, and you can just let your imagination go with the flow. We will keep their lives short and their minds weak while pretending to do the opposite. We will use our knowledge, our science, and technology in suitable ways so that they never see what is happening. We will use soft metals, aging accelerators, and sedatives in food and water as well as in the air. Nadia, I'm going to stop right there because I want to say one thing. Since Nadia is a mental health and behavioralist, just that title alone, you already know what we have been seeing a lot of. So we use soft metals, aging accelerators, and sedatives in food and water. So what do we see a rise of? I want to say maybe 1999 on up to now. We've seen a rise of what?
Obesity, high blood pressure,
And autism.
and you saying a rise. Prior to that time, were we even aware? Was it even? It was the what was it? Asperger's, and that wasn't so much of us. But then around that time, the years that you are mentioning, yes, autism was just out of control with the numbers. Yeah.
So I want you guys to understand what I'm reading here, and then I want to put truth to these words, because a lot of people were saying, that this creed was not, but this creed is actually real. So when I asked Nadia that, because she's been in this field and she has worked with the mental health, and we see a growing number of children that are dealing with some type of spectrum disorder. I have a son that has spectrum disorder. He's high functioning. He was born in the year of 2000. And so after that, I just started seeing a rise of this. So I'm going to keep going. They will be covered in positions wherever they turn. The soft metals will make them lose their minds. It's really not them losing their minds. It's really them outside of their minds, because my son is phenomenal because he doesn't see what we actually see. He sees a different world, which is good.
Right.
Which is good. We will promise to find a cure from our many funds, and yet we will give them more poison. Chemical poisons will be absorbed through the skin of idiots who believe that certain hygiene and beauty products presented by great actors and musicians will bring eternal youth to their face and bodies. And through their thirsty and hungry mouths, we will destroy their minds and system of internal organs and reproduction. However, their children will be born as disabled and deformed, and we will hide this information. The poison will be hidden in everything around them, in what they drink, eat, breathe, and wear. We have to be indigenous in distributing the poisons because they can see far. We'll teach them that poisons are good with funny pictures and musical tones on TV. Those who are looking for them will be helpful. We'll enroll them to push our poisons. They will see that our products are used in film, and they will get used to them and will never know their true effects. When they give birth, we will inject poisons into the blood of their children and convince them that they are helping them. We will start early, then their minds are young. We will target their children with that children love most sweet things. Most children love sweet things, so that's how they'll target them, with sweet things. When their teeth decay, we will fill them with metals that will kill their minds and steal their futures. Nadia, make sure you make a point of that, because I want to make sure they understand what I'm talking about. When their ability to learn has been affected, we have created drugs that will make them sicker and cause them other illnesses, for which will create even more drugs. We will make them docile and weak before us by our power. They will grow depressed, slow, and obese. And when they come to us for help, we will give them more poison. We will focus our attention on money and material goods so that they never connect with their inner self. Highlight that, because this is what we're going to be talking about. Remember, guys, we're building a foundation here. So this show, I sent out something, and you want to get some pens and papers and notebooks, because I want you guys to take notes of this. We will distract them with fornication and external pleasures, so that they are never one with the unity of all. Their minds will belong to us, and they will do as we say. If they refuse, we will find ways to implement technology that alters the mind in their lives. We will use fear as our weapon. Okay. We will establish their governments, and we will establish oppositions within them. We will own both sides. We will always hide our goal, but we will continue our plan. They will do the work for us, and we will prosper from their toll. Our families will never mix with theirs. Our blood must be pure, because it is. We will make them kill each other when they oppose us. We will keep them separate from unity through dogma and religion. We will control all aspects of their lives and tell them what to think and how. We will guide them kindly and let them believe that they are guiding themselves. We will instigate animosity among them through our factions. When a light shines among them, we will extinguish it by mockery or death, which suits us best. Again, which suits us best. We will make them tear their hearts apart and kill their own children. We will accomplish this using hatred as our ally, anger as our friend. Hatred will completely blind them, and they will never see that in their conflicts we will be their leaders. They will be busy killing each other. They will bathe in their own blood and kill their neighbors as long as we see that they are against us. We will benefit greatly from this, for they will not see us, for they cannot see us. We will continue to prosper from their wars and their deaths. We will repeat this until our ultimate goal is achieved. We will continue to make them live in fear and anger. We will give them images and sounds. We will use all the tools we have to achieve this. The tools will be provided by their work. We will make them hate themselves and their neighbors. We will always hide the divine truth from them, that we are all one. That he must never know, they must never know, that color is an illusion. They must always believe that they are not equal. Drop by drop, we will advance our goal. We will take over their lands, resources, and wealth to exercise control over them. We will trick them into accepting laws that will steal the little freedom they have. We will set up a money system that will shut them down forever, keeping them and their children in debt. When we band them together, we will accuse them of murder and present a different story to the world, because we will own all the media. Guys, please take account of what I'm saying, because we are seeing a lot of this playing out right now. We will use the media to control the flow of information and their feelings in our favor. When they rise up against us, we will crush them like insects, because they are less than that. They will be helpless to do anything about it. Just remember what you are to them. Now, that is the creed from one of the most powerful families and controllers of this world. Now, I need you to understand what I just read to you. Are we not going through that today with Carmelo Anthony? Are we not going through that with Nolan? Are we not going through that right now with the food, our water, the air? So, guys, we're living in the days of revelation. Revelation means to reveal. So I wanted to set that right there. So Nadia, I want you to give me a couple of points on what we talked about, and then we're going to move forward, because we have to set this base for you guys, so that you can understand how Stan Lee and other directors, the DC producers and writers, came up with these characters, these saviors. Even, and I know I'm going to touch on some people's nerve here. I know I'm going to hit a nerve, but just walk with me, okay? Because what I'm talking about is not to offend or hurt anyone or put anybody belief system down. Believe what I say. Your belief is your belief. I don't know your belief, and I'm not going to crush your belief. What I'm bringing today is history. We're going to look at this from a science point of view, okay? So it's not about, downing what you believe in, because that is your belief. No one can tell you what you believe in. That's you, only you, okay, my beloved? So y'all stay with me, and I murder you. Okay, so Nadia, go ahead and give me.
One of the last points you hit on there in that creed was them wanting to own all the media. And so we know right now that there are a few media companies that are black and brown led. However, I think sometimes we fail to realize how much power the media has, right? When there are big media campaigns for whatever they are for, there are so many people that buy into that, whatever it is they're saying. For example, now, if you talk to a little child, or even their great grandmother, and you ask them, well, what's the most important meal of the day? Everybody's going to say breakfast. However, that was a campaign. That was a media campaign at one point, because they weren't selling enough milk and eggs and those sort of things. So the campaign was, we're going to tell these people, you're unhealthy because you're not having a proper breakfast every morning. And look, here, years later, we're indoctrinated with breakfast is the most important meal of the day. You got to have breakfast every day. You got to eat before you go to work or before the kids go to school. That's a media campaign. So I think we don't, a lot of times, we don't. And look at social media. People don't watch the news. People don't read newspapers. They get everything they need from social media. Not of us.
Not of us.
Right? So the media is a big thing. Another point you mentioned there, and this is literally today, they're going to put these contaminants in what we eat, what we drink, what we use, what we wear. Like, just think about from relaxers, and most of those companies were not black or brown companies. The hair relaxers. Think about if you know anything about fast fashion, and how all these dyes and chemicals are put into these clothes, and then they go back to these third world countries, and they got piles and piles of clothes. So, and think of, what is it now? You're not supposed to eat the eggs. The lettuce is on recall. The eggs. Some about chicken being injected. Yes, you're not supposed to be eating the chicken right now. Not supposed to eat the eggs. the lettuce, a lot of you go to restaurants now, you can't get a salad because of the lettuce. So this is, think about, where is it right now? They've been without lights for lights or electricity right now for more than a week. Those people that can't cook, and they were saying yesterday that if they use the water, they need to start boiling the water. But mind you, we have no electricity.
Right.
But we need to boil the water because the electricity is out. The water, what is it? Filtering plant or cleaning plant, whatever, their operations are limited as well. So the water isn't getting filtered properly. But how are we supposed to boil this water?
I want to veg back off of that because I'm glad you said that. I seen that too, and I'm in my mind. I'm like, because we're so caught up with drama that we shouldn't be caught up with. They keep, again, like he said, we're going to keep them distracted. We're going to keep them distracted with things. So while we're out here moving and pushing through things that they're not aware of, when I seen it, I said, okay, so now one city is going to, they're going to be the first example of the grid shutting down, basically. So they have no electricity. They have nothing at this point. Going back to a movie that I just watched called The Last House on Netflix. It's a great movie. You guys need to watch it. Because if you think that we're not going to be visiting that, go back and look at some of those old Simpson cartoon episodes. Because they are telling you what is literally happening and going to happen. Nobody was ready for COVID. But guess what? I was ready for COVID because there's a book called Medical Apartheid.
Right.
Written by a black doctor, a lady doctor with other doctors, of experiments that they have been doing on us since they have came to see us. They have been doing, because they are trying to figure out who are these people and what is this that they possess. Again, we're about to get into these great superheroes, so we got to set this foundation. Okay, but again, Nadia is hitting on those facts. Again, we're doing what we are. That is a survival mode. But are we ready? Are we prepared for that?
Right.
We actually not. But just hold on. We'll get to that in a minute. We're setting this foundation for you. Okay, so Nadia, there was another.
Well, another thing that you said the medications. They're going to, or wanting to give medications with the illusion that it's going to help, but it's doing more harm than help. So just think about, because now they're everywhere, the pharmaceutical commercials, the med that may be on the commercial may be for schizophrenia or bipolar disorder, whatever it be, but the side effects are harmful thoughts. The person, you may want to harm yourself.
Yes.
Call your doctor if you want to harm yourself or someone else. If you feel the urge to so we are seeing these things every day, just in small doses, and we're seeing them in a way that we can. It's like, well, we told them, but in a way that we are dismissive of it, because we're getting in these micro doses. They're micro dosing us with the truth.
Right. And I liked how you put that too, because I work for a pharmaceutical company. I work for one of the most major, biggest pharmaceutical companies. And one thing about it, that's money. Again, this is what he is telling you, because you got to understand, Rockefeller is the one who designed and created the whole medical system and these medicines that you are taking now. So you have to understand that they have control in the medical. They have the control in the medical, the education, and the food. So if they're giving us the food that is no good, like Nadia is saying, we can't eat the lettuce, can't eat the chicken, you can't eat. Thank God I don't eat those things, but still, my family still has to eat. But that is the reason why we should be doing what? We should be learning now how to grow our own foods.
But even if you think about the things that have not been recalled, the foods that have not been recalled, you know, there's a particular potato chip, and they say, you know, you can't eat this because of the red dye number 5 and the yellow dye in this thing. Or here recently, I don't know if anybody noticed, but the Pringles can, the description and the wording changed on the Pringles can.
Yep.
Because they used to be chips. It would say chips. But then something happened, and I'm not sure what
Because they're not
caused it.
using real potatoes.
But something happened, and there was a research done, and there are no potatoes
Right.
in Pringles. So they had to remove the word chip from the front of the can. So they know things are being done. Like I said, we're microdose
Yeah.
with the truth.
Yeah. And guys, listen, we're not trying to take away things, but we just trying to make you cognizant of what is going on around you, because most of the time when we're stuck in a box and we're only looking at one vision or one view or one concept or one ideology, then we miss every other every other thing that we need to be focused on. And so this is the reason why I'm just letting you see that this doctrine or this creed is true, because we're bringing things to the forefront of what he is actually saying that is happening to us, and more so us, because they have been trying ever since the emancipation to get rid of us. And we're going to move on down with that, but just give us a second. So now we're going to move from that, because we're setting a foundation here. So I'm going to move into this, because I want to say this. What happens when the sacred stories, symbols, deities, and archetypes of African civilization enter Western popular culture, but their origins become obscured, altered, or forgotten? What do we do?
Well, that kind of goes back to some of the other things we've talked about in other shows. If we aren't passing this information on to our children, you know, if we're not sitting at grandma and auntie's feet, hearing those stories, getting that information, where we can go back, you know, there's so many things that you probably remember as a kid with that grandma or auntie or the lady across the street told you, and you went home and was like, let me find that book. Let me get, you know, we all had a set of encyclopedias. Let me look in the encyclopedia and see what she was talking about, because I didn't understand. But then you got the information, you got the knowledge, you read about it, and you were excited about it. But we don't do that anymore. One, we don't have the encyclopedias. We have the internet.
We have the internet,
which means a lot of the things that us, our children, are reading, it's subjective, and it is based upon the author's ideologies or doctrines or the things that they believe in, that sort of thing. But I think we also get back to that just by having these conversations, you know, and saying like, hey, you know, did you know about this? Oh, you didn't. It's more. You can find more information here, or you can go to this bookstore, this black bookstore, or this book to get that information. And we need to seek and share. Those are the things we need to be sharing.
That's right.
Rather than, you know, people fighting or people. Those are the things on social media we can be sharing.
And I think so, because again, like I said, we have to keep an open mind of things, and we have to, because one thing about it is, it's just there's just too many things that are happening now. I know that we always say, I don't understand why, you know, they're killing our babies. I don't understand why we are constantly go. Well, first of all, this is a thing. You have to let the dogma go. You have to get out of that. Now, I'm not saying throw away the Biblos, which you call it the Bible. I'm not saying do that, because there's a lot of things in there that can liberate you.
Right.
Denmark Vesey, Nat Turner, Harriet Tubman, they seen it. Those are your heroes. They are heroes. And you'll see a lot of their characteristics in these Marvel characters that we're going to be speaking about today. But I don't want you to think that I am discrediting the Biblos.
Right.
The Biblos already discredited itself. Because first of all, it already told you that it was an incredible book. Listen to the wording. See, they use words to kind of mess us up sometimes. And when they say incredible, if you go into the court of law and you give them something that is not credible, what are they going to say, Nadia? Because Nadia is always in the courts.
And well, if it's incredible, it has no credibility.
Thank you.
Right.
So, but again, we're talking about stories. We're talking about folklore. We're talking about things that are, because we're in a time where people weren't reading. That's number one, people need to understand. We're in a time where people weren't reading. And you have people that were fishers and fishermen, farmers and goat herders and things like that. So it wasn't that they were dumb. It was just and a lot of, if you go back in that time, they used the word illiterate because it wasn't a lot of people reading back then. The time of the Biblos, okay? I'm not talking, we're going to go back, but I'm talking about the time of the Biblos, okay?
Right.
So now, but the thing of it is so they use these folklores. That's why Jesus always spoke in parables, so that the people could understand what he was saying, so that they could deliver it. He had to bring himself down to where they were, so that they could understand it. Okay, so, go ahead, Nadia.
And just the correlation, Jesus speaking in parables. Think about even at school, or grandma telling you stories about the Underground Railroad and Harriet Tubman. It was stories. It was fairy tales. It was the Negro spirituals. It was, you think I'm just singing a song, but listen to what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm telling you the steps that you need to take and what needs to be done.
That's right.
So that's again, that's just something that we don't do that anymore.
We don't do it anymore. And I remember sitting with my great grandmother, who transcended from this realm at 105. And we used to sit right there on that porch. And again, I am a Native American, okay, because my grandmother, she was Native. Her brother was a Buffalo Soldier. We're going to get into that as well. So I know that we were already here on this land, and we're going to get into that. But she would tell us those stories, very interesting stories, and I just wanted more and more. And I guess that's the reason why I'm where I am today, why I love history, why I chase history, why I want to just get more and more. I want to ascend more and more and more. And so it's not that I don't grasp or believe in things. You can believe in anything, but I have to have substance, Nadia. I have to know that I know,
Right.
And I want to know that whatever I am putting into me is going to grow me into the divine person that I'm supposed to be.
Right.
So, but going to this here, human beings have been retelling sacred archetypes for thousands of years, but whose mythology is celebrated, who is renamed, who is commercialized, and whose origins are forgotten. Now we finna go into our characters. Okay, so the first, and Superman was a DC character. So we're going to talk about Superman first, because the reason I'm going to talk about Superman is because we're talking about actually Jesus the Christ. Or are we talking about Jesus the Christ? See, that's the question we have to ask ourselves. So Superman was a DC character, but Superman was also created behind a deity called Horus, an ancient Egyptian god. And I don't really like to say Egyptian because Egyptian came later. It's Kemet, and I like to do the education, but I do want you to understand what I'm referencing. I'm going to say Kemet or Kemet because that is the first name, that is the oldest name. after the conquerors came in, which was the Romans, they came in and they changed the name to Egyptos and then to Egypt. So we're going to talk in this terminology first, and then when we're on the Roman, when we're talking about Jupiter and Neptune, then we'll get to Egypt, okay? So you guys can follow along. Again, this show is about education and history, and we want to make sure that we're bringing you proper information. So when we're talking about Superman, the character of Superman, we're talking about the Kemetic deity, Horus. As you know, that's a Greek name, but the true name is Haru. And so Haru is known and is a major ancient Egyptian falcon-headed god of the sky, kinship, protection, and healing as the divine son of Isis, but Set, and Osiris Asar. He famously fought his uncle Set to avenge his father's murder, symbolizing the permanent triumph of order over chaos. Now, when we talk about Superman, Nadia, what do you remember about Superman?
I think the things that I remember the most about Superman was that for the most part he was a regular man. Mm-hmm. He was a, for the, I guess 9 to 5 or until something happened, he was a regular man. Mm-hmm. But there was also, he had that known Achilles heel, because that's what it was. Mm-hmm. His kryptonite was the Achilles heel.
Yeah.
And so other than that, I think those were the two major things.
Okay.
That stuck out to me.
So Superman, and I know, because I watch Superman every day. I used to come home from school, and I love Superman because those were the only heroes that were presented to us. We didn't have any really black superhero figures. We did not.
Right.
This is what was presented to us, and so they became our heroes, our saviors. Okay, but Superman was sent here by his father, Jor-El. And Jor-El means year. Actually, if we break it down, he's supposedly Father Time.
Right.
He was sent here because their planet was going to be blown up or destroyed.
Destroyed, yeah.
So they wanted to ensure that to keep their legacy going, they sent him here. So he was, I guess we could say, a demigod, because he was a god and then he was human, because the duality of it.
Right.
So at one point, when it's time for him to go out and be the savior, he's Superman. But then he goes back into Kent as a normal person, like you say, a human.
Right.
So when we go back and say about that part, then let's talk about how Haru got here. That the Greek word Horus. So the same as he was also, but he's always been here. Okay, he is the first deity. His mother is Set, and his father is Asar. And the story of Asar and Set, him and his brother. Those are the first stories of brothers fighting and one brother killing. But you got the Cain and the Abel.
Cain and Abel. Yeah.
So this story is older than the Cain and Abel. I want you to see how they utilized our deities to create their deities. I want you to see how they killed our gods, hence the name of the show, to have their gods live and be our saviors as well, and to be our heroes and sheroes.
And another thing to kind of tie that together is, you were talking about the Bible earlier. Mm-hmm. So originally there was the Bible, mm-hmm. the Bible. which was dissected, and information was taken from it, and more things added to it, which is now considered the slave Bible. But it's the Bible where the things that were added or the things that were kept were to make the slaves feel like it's okay to be in bondage.
Right.
We're going to have a savior one day.
Right.
This is what this is what they did before Moses came, and this is what happened before.
Up under there. Look up under there. There's a book. No, not that. Those are the Orishas. See right there. Yeah, that one.
That is what happened before this is what the Bible is telling you, that it's okay. It's okay to serve. That it's okay to, the slave Bible was telling them that it's okay to serve. It's okay to be in its servitude. It's okay to be a slave. And that is what they wanted us to know. This book is called The Religious Instructions of the Negroes in the United States by Charles Jones. Charles Colcock Jones. So, just understanding, and even in the Bible today, verse that you hear a lot of pastors talk about, or just a lot of people talk about, is read to show thyself approved.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So just because your pastor told you, or your friend told you, or read it for yourself. And then once you read it and gain an understanding of what you've read, there can always be further, if you need it, further insight or further searching for the truth behind those things.
Yes. I'm glad Nadia touched on that, guys, because again, we're setting this foundation for you. And the reason why I'm going back, because I want you to see yourself in these characters. I need you to see yourself in these characters, because you are the heroes and you are the sheroes, okay? And I want you to know that your ancestors did it first. Okay, your ancestors did it first, and these stories are not folklore. These stories are here. These stories, I actually went and did my research. Even though I know history, I wanted to put this out here and let you know. I challenge my systems. I challenge the AI. I really do. I challenge it, and I asked it a question because it was giving me information that was written prior to the real knowledge. Because at a point, and Nadia can contest to this, at a point when we had the dark period, and this is the period where they would not allow us to read because they were altering the books. If you get any book that is older than, you are going to get the truth. Majority of the time, you are going to get the truth. But when I went and I challenged this AI, when I was asking the questions, because it wanted to try to give me Greek gods and Roman gods first. First of all, you can't give me that, because Rome, Greece, and all that did not even exist at the time. I need you guys to understand that. That did not exist at the time. So when I went back and I redirected the question, it said, yes, archaeologically and historically, records confirm that the ancient Kemetic, which we know as Egyptian deity Heru or Horus, is significantly, now you see how they're using the proper terminology, is significantly older than Zeus, Jupiter, Shiva, and Ahura Mazda. Now, Shiva is a Hindu deity, as well as Ahura Mazda. These deities that I'm giving you are referencing the hero, the superhero, Superman. But, however, Haru is the first to be your Superman. Okay, so I want to get that clear, because a lot of people always want to come up with, well, it's the Roman god, you just Zeus, he's
the
the
Greek
Olympian,
gods.
he's the Zeus is he's the Greek god, and then you got Jupiter, he's the Roman god. But you got to understand, in order to get there, you had to go from Africa first. You had to go from Africa first. So at the end of the day, that's what we're doing. So now we're going to move on from that. We got a little bit more to cover, but one thing about it, I want you guys to understand that all of these deities that we talk about today, I am embodying a deity called Ayoa, and Ayoa is the deity that represents wind and lightning and all of these things that you see in Storm and Phoenix, Phoenix of the X-Men and Storm of the X-Men. And so this deity was designed around Storm and Phoenix. Again, I want to go and I want to hit some more things. It's just so much that we can't really touch on in an hour. But Nadia, let's go back to what we were talking about as far as when we were talking about the extermination, or let's put it like this. I don't know if you ever heard of I know my audience, some of them probably have, and I know that you have the Negro Project,
Right,
by Margaret Sanger. The Negro Project was supposed to be a project to so-called help, Nadia, to help, the poor or indigent black population, and to say, because we were having babies, but at the end of the day, they were trying to say that we were having babies out of control. But think about it, we were coming out of the enslavement period. Okay, this was 1939. Even though it's 1939, but think about, still we coming from Jim Crow. Before Jim Crow, what are we coming out of, Nadia? We're coming out of sharecropping, then all this, and then here we emancipated. But during that time, they were building workforces, correct?
right.
So what were they doing? They were breeding us. Right. So now you have a problem with us, being fruitful and multiply, doing it on our own. But at one point, you didn't have a problem with us doing it. Right. So now it's a problem, and now you want to.
Well, because it became a problem because it was no longer profitable for them.
Exactly. And that's what I want you to get to.
And so when you think about a lot of things in our current systems, it was okay when they could profit from it, when they were profiting off of our backs or off of whatever that labor is that we were doing.
Right.
It was okay then. Even when you think about sharecroppers, they were okay with sharecroppers because they were getting the majority of the money.
Exactly.
It was their land, it was their house that the sharecroppers were living on. The crops were theirs because it was their land. Right. So they were just giving them the illusion that they owned something, or they had something, or they had a piece of something, and in actuality they were the ones profiting from that. Right?
Now Nada just said illusion, right? He just said illusion. So we're trying to break it down. Now guys, let me tell you something, because we're going to have to shut it down at some point. But this is going to be a 2-part episode, because we have to get through this, because we have to get to what created the villains. Right. Okay? And so we're giving you the basis of the heroes, because Haru is a representation of Jesus the Christ, because they're basing Jesus Christ's life off of Haru, because Haru is first. That is the first resurrection story. The Osirian drama is the first resurrection story. So in essence, we're trying to build this so that you can have an understanding. So yeah, this will be a 2-part show. But again, like Nadia said, so this project that Miss Margaret Sanger, with the funding of, again, Mr. Rockefeller, he funded it all. They utilized our ministers, W.E.B. Du Bois, Mary Cloud Bethune, I don't fault them because maybe they did or maybe they didn't. But at the end of the day, they utilized them to push this program. But this program was actually to annihilate the black race. I want you guys to understand that. So this is something I want you guys to do right now is I want you to write down the Negro Project. This was in 1939. So I want you to write that down so when we have our next show and we come back, I want to see some comments. I want you guys to interact with us and ask questions. That's what we want so that we can get an understanding so we can, again, like Nadia say, the last episode, so we can know how to navigate.
Right.
And so how we can be able to teach our children how to navigate. Okay? So, because if our children knew this information, I think our children will be walking differently than what they're walking today.
Right. And so, just based upon, you're talking about the children, I think we all know, even if it's subconsciously, a lot of times, children cannot be what they do not see. Mm-hmm. If a child lives in a small community, impoverished community, they aren't aware that they could be whatever it is they want to be. Mm-hmm. If they've never left that city, they have no idea that it's so much more going on. Mm-hmm. How do they dream beyond what they're seeing? How do they dream beyond, even if it's a TV show, mm-hmm. Even if it's the Cosby Show, like, oh, I can go to college. It's a black people, mm-hmm. or what is a different world. It's a lot of black kids in college, or even some kids don't know.
Right.
So that's why, it's important to, we all want to take trips and we all want to go on cruises. We all want to do this. Mm-hmm. But what about the children? Because what's over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
We know. Right. But take your children. And when we go on these trips, so even if it's Dallas, mm-hmm. when you're here, go to those historical mm-hmm. places. Mm-hmm. Go to the African American Museum. Mm-hmm. Which is free, by the way, in Dallas. Mm-hmm. Go to the African American Museum. Go to those places and actually, when you see those things, and children are curious and they mm-hmm. ask questions, you know what, I don't know, but when we get home, let's read about it. Let's go to the library.
Right. Go
to the library.
And if you guys don't, that we have a program called the Aduca Bees. Aduca is a Latin word meaning to bring out the best in you. So Aduca Bees, we have the Aduca Bees, and we do that. These babies travel with this program, and they start in Dallas, they go to these museums, they go outside the state, they go and they do the journey walk of our ancestors, and they get a grasp of who they are and where they came from, not just the enslavement period, but beyond that. So if you can, DM me, call me, leave us a message, whatever, and let us know that your children can get this information. Right. I just wanted to throw that out there. But let me say this one thing right quick before we wrap up, because I don't want you guys thinking that I'm just, and I don't want you guys to think, that I don't like white people, this, that, or the other. That's not my job. My job is to educate, okay? No one says that about when I'm trying to think of the lady that did the brown and blue-eyed, Jane Elliott. I'm kind of like Miss Jane Elliott. I have to bring the truth. I have to bring the truth no matter how much it hurts, no matter how much you think it might offend someone. I have to bring the truth because I have to bring us, the show is called Out of Darkness into Light, okay?
Mm-hmm. And so one brief thing, go ahead, Tiffany, about that. Also, yes, Dallas has a great African American museum. Mm-hmm. Dallas has an excellent museum, the Holocaust.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Dallas has an excellent Holocaust museum. And the thing about it is, go there, see those things, see mm-hmm. the exhibits, and you will immediately see the correlations. You will immediately understand and know why some things that are currently being done, mm-hmm. why it's being done, and where it came from. Mm-hmm. So yes, but go to these other places.
Let me tell you, and thank you, Nadia, for saying that, because we actually was going to touch on that. So again, guys, the Duca Bees, your babies can be a part of that. I was talking to Miss Gibson, for funding so that we can get this going. And if you guys are excited about this and you want to see a program like this for your children, then let's get together and work together, pull our resources, and do what we have to do. But I want to say this because I don't want you guys to think that I'm just saying something out of order here. But I'm going to say this real quickly because I got to wrap it up. This is Miss Margaret Sanger, okay? We don't want word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population, and the ministers is the main who can straighten out that idea if ever occurs to any of their more rebellious members. While some modern biographers argue she was clumsily warning Gamble. Now also Procter and Gamble had a play in this as well. But I'm gonna let you guys know that you can also pull this up and look, because I've been knowing this information for a very long time. Again, we're going to have a second series of this, but I want to close this out. Now, what Nadia was saying about the Holocaust museums, I want you guys to understand that we are going to be talking about that, and how Hitler, which is one of our villains that we're going to be talking about when we come back, how he got his ideology to be able to do the things to the same people who look like him. Where did he get that? Again, he started this in 1933. We were still, in the Jim Crow era at that time. So I want you guys to come back next week. When do we come back? In 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks.
We come back in 2 weeks, guys. Be ready. Have your pens, your papers, and everything. We're going to get real down and dirty and get into this real good. I thank Miss Montana for Miss Montana Mitchell at Mitchell. Yeah. Thank you. I'm sorry, Miss Montana Mitchell. I'm talking too fast because I got closed out. And the after party for allowing this space for us to be able to deliver this information to you. We thank her so much. I thank Miss Nadia for being here with me and continuing to be here with me to bring understanding and bring the psychology of it, so that you can be able to understand. So we thank you so much for joining Out of Darkness, Let There Be Light. We hope we see you again. Thank you, Melanated Nation. Keep thriving, keep striving. And again, remember that it only takes us, and it only takes one, building legacies one generation at a time. Have a great day.
Yeah. And we will be back September 5th.
Yes, ma'am.
September 5th.
We'll be back September 5th.